Welcome back to another entry into a list crammed full of things I never want to encounter. You have to wonder why I keep doing this, but hey, if it's demons that people want, it's demons they're gonna get. All across the world, folks have told tales of terrors that stalk the night, extraplanar entities that take what they want and cause untold destruction. Are they made by humans, born of our darkest desires, or do they cause these damning instincts? Let's see if we can figure it out. It's time for the top 5 scary demons that are real, part 3. Before we get to our list, I just want to give a quick shout out to Lindsay Ivan's brand new channel, Peach. You probably already know Lindsay from some of our other videos, but if you don't, you should check out this new channel anyways, featuring all sorts of hilarious reaction videos. So head on over, subscribe, and tell her that top 5 sent you. Right, let's get on to our list. Coming in at number 5, we've got the Popobawa. Imagine this, you're walking around at night, living life like you normally do. Everything seems a-okay for the first little while. Then your spidey senses start tingling. Something is amiss. You look around, but you don't see anything. Must be your imagination, right? Wrong. You forgot to look above you, and now a bat-winged humanoid is descending upon you, planning on doing ungodly things. And we're not talking about Bruce Wayne after a long week of vigilantism. We're talking about the Tanzanian night devil. This thing is a local legend that has been discussed for years and searches for victims in the dark. Folks that live in areas where it has been sighted have to be on high alert at all times when walking alone at night. I know that's the unfortunate standard for women across the world, but the thing about this demon is that it seems to target men. So dudes, be on high alert. The Popobawa can take on many forms, although the two most common are human, bat, or a mix of the two. And it won't just beat you up, it's more like a dolphin in how it assaults people, and I'm not really going to go any deeper into that conversation. However, it is said that if you go around warning everyone about this creature after you've been attacked, it's less likely to return, although that might be an embarrassing conversation to have. Back in 2007, a rash of late-night assaults had people on high alert, and a lot of them blamed the night devil. Groups of men would wait outside homes all night, keeping a watchful eye out. Some even smeared their entire bodies with oil in the hopes that this would repel attacks. Depending on what the Popobawa is into, that might help or hurt. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Baku. Bad dreams be gone. This is a Japanese demon said to go around hungering for the nightmares of slumbering children. Maybe adults too. Tales of this demon go way back, with instances of it being discovered in art dating back to the 14th century. I wonder if the era in which dreams take place changes the flavor. Apparently, if someone's having a bad dream, they can call upon the Baku to eat the dream, which allows them to return to sleep. However, if you call the Baku too often, it could end up badly for you. If the Baku makes a nice meal of your nightmare but decides it's still hungry, it's not going to go looking for a different nightmare to consume. It'll stick around and start feasting on your hopes and dreams. The people whose ambitions are eaten by the Baku return to their daily lives without any sort of drive, becoming an empty shell of a person. Kinda reminds me of another dream-deleting substance that if used too much makes people kinda boring. The Baku has taken on many forms, but the most common description of it seems to line up pretty closely with a tapir. That long snout can slurp up nightmares no problem. In fact, this legend was the inspiration for a long-snouted Pokemon duo, Drowsy and Hypno. And it makes sense too. These two creepy creatures rely on sleep-inducing and dream-eating strategies to win battles. Add in the Pokédex entry that seems to imply that it stole away a child that it put to sleep, and you can see why folks fear these creatures that eat dreams. So the next time you're having trouble sleeping or constantly waking up in a cold sweat, just know that there could be a mystical demon waiting to make a meal of your brain power. Just don't let him take too much or you'll end up a husk of a human. Let's be real though, the past year did that to most of us already. Coming in at number 3, girls in the bathroom. We're not leaving Japan quite yet. They've got such a unique roster of demons, it's hard to pick just one. Today we'll focus on the second of 2 and see where that takes us. So here's a good one, a demon that only visits people in the bathroom. I'm sure a lot of us have faced demons, both personal and otherwise, in public restrooms at one time or another. There are some things I've witnessed in these stalls that I just wish I could unsee, that's for sure. But this demon isn't smelly or overflowing. There are a few different versions of this demon, but it seems to be something that occurs in most Japanese schools. If you go to the 3rd stall in a 3rd floor bathroom and knock on it 3 times, you could find yourself face to face with an otherworldly presence. Sometimes the girl that shows up will simply want to chat or maybe play a game. However, there's always the chance that the entity that shows up wants to devour you or drag you to hell. Some might pull you down the toilet straight to the underworld. Others could eat you up on the spot, no hesitation. So if you're curious and looking for a relatively easy to call demon, this is the one for you. Just be aware that it could go very badly. Usually girls in bathrooms are so supportive too. Coming in at number 2, Gottliebin Dittus. I hope I said that right, we'll see. What if your parents named you that? It's like they're asking to have to perform an exorcism on you at some point. Like, German names are lovely, yes, but damn, Gottliebin Dittus. Dittus? Dittus? Oh boy. Way back in 1842, some of Gottliebin's neighbors noticed that she was not quite right. She lived in a small village, so word got around quick. The 28-year-old was going around telling everyone that her house was haunted, and soon after started entering trance-like states pretty often. German villagers in the 19th century don't tend to react well to folks going into trances, so they got a pastor involved, and that's where things got really bad. It seems like demons aren't super happy when religious dudes try to exorcise them, so Gottliebin got violent and desperate. The exorcisms that followed went on for 2 full years. She was restrained for most of the time and somehow managed to vomit broken glass and nails all throughout. How did these substances end up in her stomach? Who knows? What we do know is that in the end, Gottliebin was cleansed of her demonic presence. But after all that, I'd say keeping the demon within might actually be worth it if you can avoid puking up carpentry supplies. Coming in at number 1, we've got the Gary House Demon. Gary, Indiana. This is a modern day possession story for the ages. I wouldn't be surprised if a feature film gets greenlit based on this tale. In fact, Zach Bagans already made a feature-length documentary concerning the events, and after all was said and done, he purchased the house and demolished it. Talk about thorough. So the story goes something like this. Latoya Ammons and her 3 children moved into a rental house in Gary back in November of 2011. Soon after they settled in, strange things started happening. Even though it was a chilly December, black flies kept swarming their porch regardless of how many they killed. Footsteps could be heard throughout the house at night, and doors and cupboards opened when nobody was around. It didn't take long for whatever demon was causing these poltergeisty activities to get to the kids either. The kids started acting strangely, claiming that they knew what death felt like, attacking each other, and at one point even hovering a few feet above their bed while sleeping. These activities were reported to the police, who felt that the children were not being adequately cared for. The kids were taken into police custody, and Ammons was given 6 months to get herself together. She got a new job, rented a new home, and eventually got her kids back. Since then, they've experienced no new demonic presences, so whatever was going on was happening because of that house in Gary. Jeez, maybe it's a good thing Baggins leveled it. Do you feel any new presences around you? Eyes burning into the back of your neck? Maybe a chilly feeling sweeping through your house? Just hope that the more you learn about demons, the less likely you are to be targeted. So, what do you think about the list? Do you agree with my picks? What's the scariest demon you've ever heard about? Have you ever experienced anything demonic? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more stoic ones from the top 5 horror movie pregnancies that will scare you. Spooky Buzzy says, I was just telling my mother about how while I don't want kids, every once in a while when I see a baby/pregnant woman, my hormones attack my brain and my brain starts saying I need one of those. No thanks, body. I'll just stick to having fur babies. I mean, baby fever is real and terrifying, so stay safe out there. Jim Fleming says the granddaddy of horror pregnancies, Adrian, would also quite literally be old enough to be a real granddaddy. Also, check out the dream sequence birth from The Fly and check out The Obstetrician. Could you imagine finding out that your granddaddy is the Antichrist? What does that make you, the Antichrist? The Grand Antichrist? Bolton Hole says, ah yes, gotta love the fact that anyone could give birth to demon children that can take over the world, as if 2021 couldn't get any better. I mean, we're probably already living alongside demons, just think about the worst person you know. Cherio88 says the scariest pregnancy story? It costs 10 to 30K in hospital and doctor costs alone to have a baby in the USA. And folks wonder why birth rates are down. And Neo says, I love top 5, scary. Keegan, you are the man. Are those books or video games behind you above the Shonen Jump? First of all, thanks for being a fan. Secondly, I recently shuffled around my shelf, so I got the Shonen Jump magazines still down here, but then I've got a bunch of DVDs and Blu-rays up here now, where the old manga used to be. That's stored in a less high traffic area now. That's all the time we have for today. I'm gonna go play Edward 40 Hands with cleaning supplies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.